On November 30th, 2021, my life changed forever. I was in a school shooting, and that day altered everything. The days that followed were filled with sleepless nights, and the images of the day replayed endlessly in my mind. I felt as if I was stuck in a loop, unable to move forward, and trapped. For months after, it felt like I was just getting by rather than living. Each day I would either stay in bed or stare at my computer for hours. The weight of it all held me down, and the sadness was relentless. I was completely drained, not just physically, but emotionally as well. My path to recovery began slowly. I started by going to therapy sessions every week. At first, I felt like I was just retelling the story to someone new. I would leave feeling exhausted and as if I was reopening wounds instead of healing. Eventually, there was one session where everything shifted. I was finally able to say out loud that I had lost people I had known my whole life, and that life was not fair. Although the grief was overwhelming, so was the realization that I couldn't continue living life like this. Daily life was full of challenges I'd never expect. I constantly feared another shooting would happen, and crowded places made me feel very uneasy. I remember going to the mall was one of the hardest things I did. The loud sounds, people moving everywhere, it was all too familiar, and I felt trapped. But little by little, I began to understand these things, learning to confront them, not to avoid them. Healing didn't come from sitting still. It came from finding new ways to live. I picked up a job in landscaping, which kept me busy, but the real surprise was golf. The concentration it took, the patience it demanded, it allowed my mind to rest. Every swing helped me focus on something besides the past, and I started to feel like I was regaining pieces of myself. Through golf, I found a new way to connect with others, something I hadn't done since the shooting. I had isolated myself for so long, but golf brought me back to people in a gentle way. It became more than just a game. It was a big part of my healing. Just when I thought I was making real progress, news of another school shooting shook me. All the fear, all the hopelessness, it was like being pulled back to the beginning. I couldn't leave the house. But this time, I refused to let my progress be erased. My mother's words rang in my ears, reminding me that if I had survived this once, I could survive it again. The trauma will always be a part of my story, but I've realized that it does not have to define me. I found strength in small, simple things, in golf, in laughter, in the moments I once took for granted. Each day I choose to live beyond the pain, to remember that I have a life worth living and a story worth sharing.